Cheat code. Support strategist. By clouds. My head in the clouds, not coming down. Oneo 3. Chapter 53. Ingenium. No, absolutely not. Izuku put his foot down. You can't bring explosive materials into a hospital, Mei-chan. But I want to start testing as soon as possible, Mei pouted. It's nothing too dangerous, just a teeny tiny micro. It's a hospital, Mei-chan. Izuku interrupted. Everything is dangerous. I'm sure they let Baka in if he came to visit. Mei grumbled. And he's the definition of explosive. He's also a person, Mei-chan. Izuku sighed. So, still, no. But I already brought it in, Mei whined. I can't just leave it outside. Make Ochako take it back to the school, Hitoshi suggested. I think Zero has detention today, so he should still be at school. She can use him as an anchor point, then take whatever you need back to the lab. Ochako nodded. Yeah, that'll make good practice. Mei glared at them before giving in and shoving her bag into Ochako's hand. Fine, but be quick about it. Ochako grinned, and Izuku reached for his notebook. He'd really only seen that weird light around her a few times now, since most of the time she was disappearing too fast for him to get a good look. But it seemed to appear whenever she was searching for an anchor, which made Izuku completely nerd out with questions. How did she tell anchors apart? Could she train her quirk to figure out how far away they were? Or even where? If she used two anchors, could she theoretically jump to a point between them? There was a beep from the tracking earrings, and Hitoshi whistled as Ochako popped out of existence. I keep thinking that'll get less impressive, but so far, no luck. It's just really freaky the first time now. Though, now it's just cool. Izuku frowned. It's weird that it came on so suddenly. I would have expected her quirk to get stronger gradually, which meant there would have been signs, and then she could have trained herself to jump rather than jumping and having to train herself not to. Well, she had been pushing her quirk a lot, Mei said. Would that affect it at all? There is a trend of hero students, quirks changing while they train, Izuku acknowledged. But those normally happen during the second year when training gets more intense and preparing for the, license exam. Not when they've barely started training. I think Izuku might be onto something. Hitoshi butted in. Eraser's been acting super weird about her quirk too, like there's some sort of secret about it or something. But then again, he's also been pretty frustrated with All Might, and that seems to be normal. So it might be nothing. I'm kind of still learning how to read him and Mike. With the internships and everything, me and my adults haven't really had time to hang out at home, Mei leaned into his personal space and looked him in the eye. But it's better, right? They aren't lying about protecting you and making sure you have a better place to live than that stupid foster home, right? Hitoshi nodded. They're actually encouraging me to talk at home, which is nice. But I never know how to respond when they ask me how quirk training is going. I never had any adults be genuinely interested before. I found them ass. They were just testing the waters to make sure I wasn't going to murder them in their sleep or something. Who are you going to murder in your sleep? Ochako popped into the middle of the conversation. I hope they deserve it. They would have, Hitoshi assured her. Don't worry too much about it. You're ready to introduce Robo-Boy to his new kidnappers? Hitoshi, Izuku squawked. You can't just call us kidnappers in everyday conversation. Why not? Hitoshi said innocently. Mei-chan calls things her babies all the time. I'm pretty sure that makes it worse, Ochako giggled. If you're not careful, people are gonna think you two steal people's babies or something. I would never steal another's baby, May said introductively. It's much more fun to make them myself. The rest of them laughed as Izuku groaned loudly. Can we just go now? We don't want to keep Iida waiting. Yeah, let's go. Ochako led the way. And we can just appreciate that we just talked about Iida and I didn't immediately disappear. Good work, Gravity Girl! May clapped her on the back. A little more control, and I'll be able to make you such awesome babies. Izuku grabbed his notebook again. What are you doing differently, if we can figure it out? Ochako shook his head. It won't really work that well for everything. Right now, I'm just reminding the stupid Quirk that Iida is right there, so I don't need to go to him. That's about it. But I'm not usually close enough for that trick to work. Still pretty good practice. Hitoshi shrugged as they arrived in Iida's room. So, should we just knock? May was already barging through the door before he could even finish his question. Mineta might have known exactly how he got in here, but that didn't mean he had liked it. Seriously, how had All for One stayed in power this long if he thought it was a good idea to send a first-year hero students against a serial killer? What kind of stupid plan was that? He wasn't actually going to fight the serial killer. Unlike Shigaraki's beloved sensei, Mineta wasn't an idiot. If he faced Stain head-on, he was going to end up like Iida, or probably worse, so no thank you. That didn't mean he was going to give up, though. There was more than one way to skin a cat. He looked around the alleyway one more time, making sure all his traps were in place, before taking out the burner-phone. He stole Mount Lady's login information for the Hero Network during his internship. Not that B1GASS Lady was a very secure password to begin with, but it gave him access to a lot of the investigation files he wouldn't have been able to access as a student, and allowed him to make some connections that made him doubt the completity of the Hero Commission. The police had already picked up on the pattern of 4 heroes per city. He moved on after Hosu, and only after one attack so far, so Mineta wasn't too concerned about missing him, especially since of the pattern the police had mistaken, with the interception of Ingenium, who'd seemed to have simply stumbled into him. There was usually a call on Hero Networks a few minutes before the hero was attacked, which meant that Stain was either looking for crime and chasing them to heroes, or, more likely, listening to police and hero scanners to find and trap his targets. All Mineta needed to turn that tactic against him was a little bit of bait. He dialed the police and took a few shallow breaths so it sounded like he was hyperventilating by the time the operator responded. Please, you gotta help me. Kid, take a deep breath with me, okay? What's going on? I don't know. Mineta choked out. I was just walking from home, and I passed through this alley. Is it a villain? Mineta looked around the empty alley. I think so. Yeah. Just one? I think so, Mineta answered. I don't think the guy on the ground is a villain. Are you safe? I think so. Mineta had to pinch himself to keep from laughing. Oh no, he's coming this way. We're sending the nearest hero to your location. Stay hidden and safe on the line. Mineta rolled his eyes and slammed the phone to the ground, stomping it for good measure. According to the Hero Network, the nearest hero was some D-lister by the name of Slugger, who had a reputation for leaving the difficult fights to other heroes while he warmed the bench, which should be a tempting enough target to bait his real target. He used some of his balls to scale the wall, to watch the chaos from the roof. All that was left was to wait for the bait. Tenya stared at the sheets and tried to ignore Tensei's disappointed glare from the corner. He had just about as much success with that, as he had with ignoring his parents' tears the past few days, which was, to say, practically none. Why had he let his anger get the best of him like that? Why hadn't he talked to someone or thought how it would affect his parents to not have one but both of their sons lose all chances of being a hero within 2 weeks of each other? Why had he been so prideful as to think he could actually take on Stain? Sensei sighed. How are you feeling? Strange. Tenya responded. My arm hurts. Sensei frowned. I thought Recovery Girl was able to repair the damage in that one. Maybe there's something wrong. We can call the doctors. Not that one. Sensei cut him off. I think they call it phantom pain. Oh, Sensei said softly. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. That's my stupidity got me injured. Tenya said firmly. I should have been there for you. Sensei looked like he was going to start to cry again. I shouldn't have put so much pressure on you to be the next Ingenium, and now... Tenya didn't have any response to that. Ingenium was gone. There was no more Iida's sons to carry on the name. Generations of heroes cut short by a monster with a katana. What a legacy. Tenya opened his mouth to say something, but was interrupted by the door busting open. A girl with pink hair that he vaguely recognized from the sports festival rushed in. So, you're the boy with the lost arm. Let me see. Another student with green hair ran after her in a panic. Mei-chan, you can't just say things like that. Why not, Izuku? Mei asked. If I'm gonna be making him a new arm, then I need to see the situation. It's a sensitive topic, Mei-chan, Izuku said. We don't even know if he still wants to be a hero, much less if he's willing to. Who are you? Tenya's brain was still catching up as he sputtered. And your companion is quite right. It is quite rude to burst in here like that. To his surprise, Uraraka rushed into the room as well. I am so sorry, Iida. I know Mei and Izuku can be a bit much the first time you meet them, but Tenya's brain finished buffering, and his eyes widened. Wait, why do you want to know if I still want to be a hero? So we can help you, silly! Mei had pulled out tape measurements from nowhere, and Tenya flinched as she started measuring his shoulder. Are you allergic to any metals? How well do you respond with radioactive materials? Shinso walked in, and for some reason, it contrasted to Uraraka's arrival. His arrival made complete sense. These two must be the support students, Midoriya and Hatsume, that helped him win the sports festival. Then, it still didn't make any of this make more sense. But at least someone here knew how to navigate this chaos. They want to make you a new project, just like Ochako and I have been, Shinso said. I'd recommend just rolling with it. No offense, wheel guy. None taken, Sensei said calmly. But what would this project entail exactly? Cyborg hero. Mei shot him a manic grin. Half man, half groundbreaking Hatsume tech. Midoriya sighed. What she means is that she wants to make him a new arm. A lot of heroes have managed to continue their careers after losing a limb. Ectoplasm being primal example, but it'll be difficult, and I'm sure there's a lot of different issues. So don't feel obligated to. I can still be a hero? Tenya asked softly. But well, you're still going to get into trouble for the vigilantism, obviously, Shinso said. But you're still a student, so enough community service and probation period should be enough to put you back on tracks, if you can manage to get Nezu on your side. Do you want lasers in your fingers? Mei asked, then nodded quickly. I'm giving you lasers in your fingers. From the corner, Sensei cleared his throat. Hatsume, was it? What do you know about modifying wheelchairs? May grinned, and Midoriya started scribbling down in his notebook. Tenya felt vaguely terrified, but also oddly hopeful for the first time since the sports festival. What had he just signed up for? I don't know if any of you guys notice, but whenever I do voice lines for May Hatsume, I pitch up my voice like this, but not just pitch up my voice. I have to be so energetic and it changes the dynamic completely because I have to talk like I'm talking 1,000 words per minute because she's so excited and she wants to get she doesn't want to waste time talking. She wants to waste her time doing her babies. That makes sense. She wants to be making her babies, working on her babies, not sitting here and chit-chatting about making the baby. She wants to get to the point. She wants them babies made right now. She doesn't wait. She's not a later person. She's a right now person. So she's a very energetic one. And something about her bursting into a hospital room and immediately being like, all right, let me see your arm. Start taking measurements. All right, are you allergic to anything? Blah, 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 blah. And Izuku just being there like, okay, May, calm down. Look at me. We need to breathe, right? Just the whole May and Izuku friendship, whether platonic or romantic, I think it's amazing because obviously May is Izuku's confidence. Every time Izuku thinks, oh, no, I'm not confident enough, May is like, confidence? Where is it? What are you? A girl boss? And that's on? Period. Exactly. And every time May's a little too worked up and, needs to communicate a little better other than just start measuring people's arms, right? Izuku's there like, hi, yeah, she wants to do this. I'm just telling you this because otherwise she's going to start rolling with it and you're going to find out once the thing is done. They balance each other out. It's like a yin-yang, right? Izuku is calm, but a little insecure and whatever, but knows how to work through a whole plan. And, sit and talk to people saying like, hey, we want to make you an arm. May, on the other hand, is an overly confident, energetic person who jumps into a project and forgets to ask, hey, do you want a new hand? Also, modified wheelchair. I'm in for it. I don't know if any of you guys seen, Into the Spider-Verse, specifically the second movie, that's the third movie. I don't know, the Spider-Verse. There's a Spider-Man or woman, I don't know, Spider-Person that has a modified wheelchair. They're in a wheelchair. I want that. That is what I want for Tensei. That's what I want for Tensei. That is what we want. That is what we need. What do we hear, folks? When do we want it? Now. When do we need it? Now. That's probably what goes into May's mind the whole time. Just, when do we want it? Now. Or when do we want to make babies? Now. When do we want it? Now. When are we going to do it? Now. Just in a constant loop in her head. She's so energetic. I love her. I always love voice lining hers because it's just get a ball of energy and throw it. That's all it is. I love her chaotic energy. It's not just energy, it has to be chaotic energy. You gotta get it right. It's not just a typical energy. It's chaotic energy. The whole, I want to bring explosives into, and you have to add a little bit of sass. You can't forget the sass, right? That comment about Bakugo, that was sassy, right? That whole, well, he's allowed to get in here, so why aren't my explosives? We love a chaotic and sassy queen. This is also why I love when Izuku Midoriya is sassy and chaotic, which I will say he's a little sassy and he's a little chaotic, but May overrides all of that because she is the definition of a sassy, chaotic being. As always, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Join our community Discord server, link is in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.